because that's the last thing I think I have to accomplish at Michigan. I mean, I've accomplished everything and more than I thought I was going to, and that's the one thing that I wanted to do more than anything going in when I committed.
Welcome back to the Social Kick Podcast with a repeat guest and a new Olympic gold medal. Welcome from north of the border at Lake Huron, Maggie Mac Neil. Good to see you again.
Great to see you guys. I'm so glad to be back on the show.
Thanks for bringing back some hardware. We know that it was because of such a positive experience with us that you went on to win gold, so you're welcome.
Thank you.
Luke's been taking all the credit. He's been walking around telling everyone, you know what? I'm responsible for a lot of medals at the Olympics.
Well, we were concerned at U.S. trials because we knew so many guests at U.S. trials, and we thought we had a curse going at U.S. trials because they weren't doing always so good. But the guests who went to the Olympics, it was pretty good. So and we're so happy that you won Canada's first Olympic gold medal of the game, and so that was awesome.
Even though it seemed like you didn't know you won.
Pardon?
I said, even though it seemed like you didn't really know you won.
I didn't, though. Like, I could not see anyone at all, like, the entire race. So it definitely took a while to figure that out.
You had no idea you were 7th for the turn? Sarah was next to you. She was ahead of you, and you just turned and you did your thing. Yeah.
Sarah was behind me.
She was right. She was.
She went out of 6'9", yeah.
Yeah. Was that strange with no crowd? Yeah.
It really wasn't. I mean, Canada, we never really have much of a crowd anyways. But I think just like the whole year, the fact that we did time trials and we did even our trials, like we didn't have anyone in the stands. And I guess there was more of an atmosphere at Big Tens and NC2As. But I mean, having the team in the stands that wasn't so many at like a certain day, I mean, there was still like some sort of atmosphere. So it wasn't that weird.
Talk about trials. I mean, Canada's trials in April. This time it was 2 weeks before you swam. What did you do? How was that? How was that adjustment from trials to the games?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, I didn't really taper at all for trials, so I kind of just swam through it. But I went faster in my 100 fly like a couple weeks before at one of our mini time trials, so I wasn't sure how my 100 fly was going to go at the Olympics, but I was like, I'm just training, so hopefully it'll all come together when it needs to.
Yeah, we were talking in our Olympic recap about, prelim final or morning finals and how it looked like the Olympics got off to a little sluggish start with the IMs, not too many fast times. What was your experience with the morning finals, and how did you overcome that?
I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was, to be honest. I mean, going in, I did like something with some Canada, and Kylie and I were talking to Brent Hayden about it because he had experience from Beijing, I think it was.
Years of experience, some would say.
Yeah, years of experience. So that was really helpful, but I honestly didn't think too much of it. I mean, as soon as we entered the pool, like there weren't windows and you couldn't really tell what kind of day it was. So it was kind of just like finals that just felt normal. But it was really nice having like the rest of the day after to kind of chill and call my parents and just hang out, as opposed to having to go right to bed and kind of focus for the next morning.
Yeah, did you feel like that there was anything that had prepared you well to swim at that like time of the day? I mean, the prelim started around 10 a.m., right? And then you've got NCAAs that kind of start around the same time, or even maybe an hour later. So it's not like it's a foreign concept of swimming in the morning. It's pretty late, especially for those of us who are used to 6 a.m. practices. So, hey, I mean, it's a positive benefit to being able to go to bed early. But is there anything that you can point to and go like, yeah, I was able to really get up for finals because of that thing?
I wouldn't say there was anything like in particular. I mean, growing up, I've always been pretty good at getting after it in the morning and going for it, just because like that's what my club coach always told us to do. It's like you have to make it back, so you have to go out for it in the morning. But NC2As, I kind of just would coast through the mornings. So, I mean, that's definitely something I didn't kind of use when I was in Tokyo. But I think just knowing that getting up 4 hours before kind of helps me wake up, that kind of was the only thing I really did before finals to get ready.
Was there no like stress of like trying to sleep or anything? Because I can imagine that you've had even if you had like a heat the night before and you're like, right, oh my God, I've got an Olympic final in the morning. Is there no like stress of like not being able to sleep, or are you pretty all right with that stuff?
It was okay. I mean, I didn't really sleep much as a whole, I think, as well as I could have, like throughout the whole meet. But I think 100 fly prelims was pretty early on. It was like I was done, I think, by like 7:30 or something like that. So it wasn't too bad. And then they got the flyers back to the village, and they didn't put me on the prelim relay just because that would finish at like midnight or close to it. So it wasn't too bad. I mean, it did take a while to fall asleep, I think, just with the excitement and everything. But I think I just took really long naps during the day, and it kind of got me through it.
I want
The
to circle
cardboard
back
beds
to where
help.
you. Oh, sorry, Meg. I just
I
want
was
to
just
circle
asking whether
back to you saying that you couldn't really see anyone in the finals race. Is that normal that you can't really see anyone when you swim?
No, that was a first for me. Usually I'm in like the middle of the pool, I would say. So I can kind of see people on either side of me. But like the turn was really the only time I could see anyone, and I didn't know I was seventh. I just knew Sarah was behind me, and I couldn't really see anyone else like on the other side.
Do you think that helped out? Obviously, Sarah, you would expect, or we would always expect her to go out fast. Obviously, she's had a crazy last year, and she had a great meet considering everything she went through. But you're like ahead of Sarah. Was it like, okay, well, I know Sarah's going out in 25.5 or something crazy. I'm ahead of her. I'm good.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. I mean, I think I was in her heat and something else, and she went out fast. So I think it was just the fact that she hadn't done a lot of training, probably just with her injury, and she had an unbelievable Olympics, like despite that.
Yeah.
So it was really weird to see her kind of like do the opposite to what she normally does, which I wouldn't say it threw me off just because I was so focused on my own race, but like I guess I don't know, I would say that it didn't really phase me too much, but I just was trying to focus on myself and not hanging up on what she was doing or trying to like pace off of her, I guess.
Did you swim according to the plan you and Rick set out? Was that how you expected to swim, or was it different how it played out in final?
I feel like it played out how it normally would, or my strategy, I guess, what I'm known for now.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect to be seventh at the turn. I think that probably should get better. But I think the ironic part is I was faster by like 0.2 than I was at Worlds on the first 50. So just pushing that speed a bit more, I think, will help me get closer to 54 at least.
You felt great that last 25, didn't you? You feeling solid, or you were like, oh my God, this hurts. I just gotta go. What was that last 25? Because you just accelerated, your tempo changed, and you went for it.
Yeah, I honestly don't really remember. But looking at my videos from prelims and finals or semis, like I wasn't like the one thing I was focusing on was bringing my stroke rate up on the second 50 because I wasn't too happy with my prelims and my semi time. So the coaches and I were kind of trying to analyze how I could improve going into the final. And the one thing that really stuck out to them was my stroke rate had been so much lower than it was at Worlds, and even at trials, I think it was higher. So that was my one goal, was to like increase my stroke rate. So I feel like my stroke rate just increased even more by like the last 15 meters when it hurts really, really bad. So I think that's probably just what happened.
What did you do to do that? Did you change your breathing pattern? Did you change the timing of your kick? What did you do to make a conscious effort to get the stroke rate up? Because it was remarkable. We noticed it.
I think I just tried to move my arms a little bit faster. I don't think I think too much about like how I'm going to go faster.
You know, when I'm trying to close fast, I just think, go faster.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of all that I think about when I'm like the last 15 meters, I guess.
Do you ever find, you seem to be pretty good about staying in your own lane, but that was such a competitive field and you're coming in an outside lane. So even as a previous world champion, defending world champion, plus, the NCAA accolades that you've achieved, there's still a lot of competition. And so it'd be easy to sit in that ready room and be thinking about things outside of what you can control. I'm just curious what thoughts you have about that experience. What was the ready room like? What was the pre-race like? And how were you framing your mind to perform at your best?
Yeah, so believe it or not, I was not nervous at all for that race.
Huh.
Like, I think I might have been more nervous at like club meets or like even prelims of trials. Like, I don't know why. I just like wasn't nervous at all. And I think it was because I wasn't happy with my prelim and my semi. So at that point I was kind of like, I'm just going to swim it and whatever happens, happens. So I kind of had like a carefree attitude. And I think that's an important step going forward, just so like I'm not kind of paralyzing myself with anxiety or nerves or whatever. But I mean, the ready room was just like normally, I guess it's tense and it's kind of quiet and people are in the zone and kind of they realize what's at stake here and they've been working 5 years for this. But I was kind of just chilling, like not thinking too much of it for once. And I thought that was really surprising, but I think it's a good lesson to take forward.
You know, guys, I can't think, not many swimmers have got the World Championship, the NCAA Championship over record, and the Olympic Championship. That's a rare trifecta in swimming, to be honest. But is it true that the Olympic Championship was the most, I don't know, the most thrilling for you, or was it your first World Championships? Is the Olympics really that different from those other two major accomplishments?
I would say no. I mean, I think Worlds was just thrilling because it was my first senior team and I was kind of just taking in everything and just had no expectations whatsoever. I think out of the 3 meets, I think I was the most anxious and nervous about the 100-fly final at NC2As than I was at Worlds or at the Olympics. Not sure why that was. I mean, I've always wanted a ring. So I think maybe I was like, I want a ring and this is my last chance to get it. So I think that was my motivation, I think, at that point.
I mean, it's so interesting to me that you were so, like you said, you weren't happy with the prelim and semis at the Olympics. Because looking at it, I was like, oh, Maggie always seems cool. She's just kind of getting into the next race. She's, she knows where she is. She's, she stays in tune with her splits and what's going on. So, yeah, I could say 5th or 6th. Yeah, just cruising in. But what was it that made you, like you said, be able to step it up at finals? Was it just trying to focus on tempo or that being relaxed? What would you attribute such a good finals compared to prelims and semis for?
I think it'd just be like those 2 things I mentioned. I mean, tempo was like the one big thing that the coaches were like, if you do this, you could win. So I think I knew that was my mindset going in, and that's all I thought about was I just have to increase my tempo and whatever happens will happen. So I think it was the laid backness of that as well. And my club team actually rented out a drive-in movie to watch finals on like the big screen. So I feel like that also attributed to my nerves in semis. I was just like, I just have to make the final and not ruin this event. But I found out later they had a backup plan and they were going to play the relay from the previous night if I didn't make it into the final.
Do you think that the fact that you can't see as well, like, gives anything to it? Because obviously you're swimming your own race because you actually can't see what else is going on as well. Like, it's just pure, like, personal drive, I guess, in each race. Like, you're swimming your race. You can't rely on anybody else to sort of push you forward. So do you think that sort of credits to any of it as well?
I mean, I think it must. I mean, I feel like at that point it's kind of mind over matter. But like I can see big objects, like I can see moving bodies, I can see the wall, which is kind of why I've decided I don't want to wear contacts and I don't really need LASIK or anything. So I'm like, as long as I can read the set on the block that's really like close to my face and I can see the wall, that's all I kind of really need to see. But I think it probably does attribute it to it a little bit.
Yeah.
Luke, you can answer the question or post a YouTube clip for everyone that has glasses that people ask, how do you swim? You can still see the big objects, all the main things. You're good to go. You see the wall. What else do you need, right?
Nothing.
Right? I've gotten asked a million times. I'm sure Meg has. Luke is just wearing fake glasses, I think.
I'm just fake glasses. Maybe look smarter than I am. So that's fine.
Well, Maggie, so I got introduced to swimming by my sister, who started before I did, and she also wears glasses, and we were talking about you finished and your just how you became aware that you're Olympic champion and that kind of delay that we all saw. Like you finished the race, you take the goggles off, and then look, and then oh my gosh, and just just sharing stories about how my sister had a similar experience where she doesn't see the clock and never knew until she walked up to my parents or walked up to the coach after she had exited the pool and found out, hey, so how did I do? I can't imagine what that reality must be like, but I think I admire your your ability to just live within yourself and not let the gravity of the moment really control too much. I think there's so many people that recognize that there were things going on outside of themselves and a lot of pressure that must come. And so, and you for sure, could have let that come to you, because as a defending world champion coming into the Olympics, there had to be a height of expectations on you. And you even had like celebrities highlighting you and celebrating your victories after the fact. Is that weird?
I mean, it definitely is. I mean, I think it was the hardest to kind of stay in my own lane, I guess, even the whole lead up to the Olympics, because Canada had such strict kind of meet schedules and COVID protocols. So, I mean, we hadn't really competed at the same level as the Australians and the Chinese and the Americans. So it was definitely hard kind of seeing them post world records and top times in the world at that time. So I think it was definitely motivating, but it also was kind of hard to sit on the sidelines and be like, I wonder how fast we're going to go. And even our trials wasn't as hyped up as other trials. So I think that was also hard, just finding the internal motivation. But I mean, swimming with the girls at the center just kind of helped a lot, I think, in that sense, because we were always competing and racing each other in practice, which I think gave us that extra push. And the fact that when we finally were able to kind of get out of the same environment that we'd been in for 15 months was really refreshing. And I think that also kind of attributed to the success that we had once we finally kind of got a change of scenery and a change of atmosphere and definitely a change of competitors.
How many medals you guys got? I mean, Penny, Kylie, 2 relays, yourself. That's incredible.
Yeah, I think our group, so we put 11 people on the team from the High Performance Center Ontario, and then I think we came back with 15 medals.
Wow.
Which is a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, so what is the takeaway, especially for the Canadian women, from this Olympics? We knew in Rio it was a young team, kind of some unexpected results. Now a little bit more expectation, but it seemed to live up to it on our end. But what is the internal dialogue within the female team?
Yeah, I think we're really, really happy with our performance. I mean, we matched our Rio count, and going in, we really didn't know where we stood against the rest of the world. And although we didn't medal in certain events we did in Tokyo or in Rio, we like upgraded all the medal colors from all the same events. So we thought that was a really interesting thing. And then we had a bunch of 4th places, but that's just even more motivating for going forward.
Where are your medals? Talking about colors, where are they?
Well, usually they're like literally on me at all times, but they're currently at home. But I always have them in my pockets. I figured out my jeans are the best, like kind of.
You have your medals in your pockets, like just. You have your
interviews. Everyone's like, "Show me the medal," so she's got to have them handy, right?
So when you go to pay,
go-to general interview.
She goes to Tim Hortons. She goes to pay with a medal. Sorry, the thing is, makes on a credit card.
No, I don't have them like attached to me, I guess, that much. But I figured out my jean shorts are like the best way to transport them, because I can put one in each pocket and still have a pocket for my phone.
George for the win. You heard it. George for the win.
But yeah, no, but it's been great to like show them to people and let them feel it and hold it. I mean, I had a party with some of my old teachers and friends yesterday, so it was really special getting to share that with them. And they were wearing them, and kind of, I hadn't seen them in a while, so it was really special to kind of take the time to kind of talk to them and tell them about my experience.
Which one means the most to you of the 3?
I mean, they all mean something, but I think the silver one, because it was my very first one, and it was on the relay with Penny, Kyla, and Rebecca, and for 3 of us, it was our first Olympic medal. So I think that one has got to be the most exciting one.
What did you think about the COVID protocols for the medal ceremony? I think there was a lot of publicity here around. Oh, it's kind of disappointing that the athletes, have that moment with the mask on the podium, and then yet you can take them off for a brief period of time. Was that, I don't know, and then you had folks like. Michael Andrew got a lot of negative publicity here for not wearing his mask in the mix zone and that sort of thing. What was your general take on that whole thing?
It was good. I mean, it was kind of weird presenting the medal to yourself, but that's what I think I love the relay medals so much, is because we are actually the first people on the first day to decide. It was Penny's idea. We were about to walk out. She's like, "Why don't we give the medals to each other?"
Yeah.
So we kind of
Good.
started that trend, and that was kind of carried throughout the entire meet, which we thought was really special because we've seen the work we put in and we've like trained with each other. So I think that was a really powerful thing. And they literally had like a printed out like a binder with like a page that said mask on and then like mask off. So they would like hold it up, and then it would kind of tell you when you could take it off and when you had to put it back on.
Wait, so are you saying that that your relay is the reason why the protocol became that all the athletes just put it on themselves? Was it different before?
No, I mean like we were all supposed to put it on ourselves, but our relays decided that since we were in the same bubble, we could put them on each other.
Medals.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. What was the biggest surprise of the Olympics to you?
The amount of walking in the village. Yeah, I was not prepared for that, and I haven't biked in 10 years or so. But they had bikes like right outside, readily accessible. So I hopped on those a couple of times, and my mom wasn't thrilled that I picked up that new sport while I was away. But I was like, it was the fastest way to get around.
I've been lucky to go to 2 villages, and I'll never forget the line at McDonald's. Why is a line at McDonald's in a village just so long? The cafeteria is busy, but it's easy to get food. Was there a
We
line?
didn't have
long line at
McDonald's.
You didn't have McDonald's?
There wasn't one. Everyone was so upset about it.
That's like, because all the athletes who don't have McDonald's in their home countries, that's why they want to go there. What was transportation like? Was it easy to get on the buses to the pool? Was that a pain?
It wasn't bad once the meet started. We were the furthest like building from where you get the buses, so like the walk was a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And then we were like one of the furthest bus stops. But originally, like they had like 1 or 2 buses, and then the problem was the bus would fill up, and then they would leave early, but there wouldn't be another one to like come right after it. So we were kind of waiting for like one time. I think we waited for like an hour, but then once the meet started, they had like them just like coming gradually, and it wasn't really a matter of schedule. It was just like if it's full, there'll be like another one there.
And I asked because it really affected the schedules of the athletes in Rio, because you race at 10 till 12, and then by the time you warm down, got on a bus, that was a long bus ride, got to the village, go eat, you're in bed at 3 a.m. So that was a hard thing in Rio.
Did you attend opening?
No, Canada never lets the swimmers never get to go just because our competition always starts like the next day. So that's just been something that Swimming Canada we've never really done, which is fine. So it was nice with COVID knowing that we weren't like missing out on anything that we would normally get to do. But it just kind of sucks that we had to come home before closing because usually we're always allowed to go to that one.
Yeah.
Did you still dress up and everything?
Yeah, we dressed up and like took pictures, and we watched the buses like come to pick everyone up and leave. So that was really exciting.
Who was your kit? Was it Roots?
Hudson's Bay.
Hudson Bay. Oh, nice. You liked it? Were you happy with it?
Yeah, everyone. I love the jean jacket. I mean, I know there was controversy on that, but I thought it was so cool.
I feel like you could get a Jorts sponsor with your medal comment.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, we talked about your races. I'd love to know, outside of your races, individual and relay, what was your favorite race that you watched at the Olympics?
I didn't really get to watch too many of them. I think it might have been Kylie's turn her back though.
Yeah.
Because she just went out for it, and she's always been more of a 100 swimmer, but she's really kind of grown into the 200. So it's been really great to kind of watch that evolution. And yeah, she went out for it, and to get back with a second was a really amazing thing for her. She came third at Worlds, so that was a nice step up.
Yeah, she had a great meet. It was exciting to watch her as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned coaches. Who were your coaches there? Rick? Were you working with Rick at all? And then who are your coaches?
Rick and Mike were floating around.
Yeah.
And then I was mainly working with Ben Titley and Ryan Millette at the center just because I've been there for the last 4 months. But no, it was nice having Mike and Rick around in case I needed them. And they've just seen me through some of the most pressurized meets. So it was just nice to know that they were there.
Absolutely.
I'm curious about your fluidity with all the different coaches. And I mean, that's a very mature thing to be able to prepare yourself for bigger meets with kind of coaches during the college season. You've got a coach that's moved on to a different school. You've got coaches that are that you're with here. But Any like, how do you approach that? Do you have a lot of control over the program and a lot of say in the way that you taper? Do you feel like you've got a really good handle on what you need in especially the final preparation for a meet to give you confidence, or are you the type of person who's really bought into what the coaches are telling you and you're just there along for the ride?
I would say I'm like in the middle, I guess. I mean, if you'd asked me like a year or two ago about fluidity and jumping from coach to coach, I would have been a lot more hesitant and I think more nervous about how it would turn out. But I think with COVID and the fact that everything has just been changing so rapidly that I kind of had to adapt to different situations. And I think just the fact that I couldn't control that really helped me. Just because I'm always likes to do things that are familiar, things that I've always done. So I think that made it a lot easier. And then, I mean, this was only my second, I guess, real taper meet, big summer meet, I guess. So I'm kind of trying to figure out taper still. So there's not really anything particular that I like to do. And then there's certain things in the water that I know I need to do, like power towers, kind of underwater kicking kind of stuff like that, that I need to make sure that I had to kind of adapt into my training program in Toronto. But I was definitely anxious about getting started because I hadn't really trained with them for a long period of time. And I kind of just jumped right into what they were doing. So it really worked out for the best. And I'm excited to kind of spend more time with them, but also kind of to experience different things at Michigan with all the changes that are coming up.
Let's get into the changes. First of all, whose idea was it? It was very strategic to jump in the transfer portal so you can, I'm assuming, talk to Rick, right? And speak to Rick. But what's going forward? Like, what changes have you put in place with Mike moving forward to Michigan and with Ben and Ryan at Canada still wanting to be influenced? What's going on for the next 3 months? That's it.
Yeah, so the idea was actually mine.
Nice.
Everything kind of happened while I was in Toronto, and it was kind of really unexpected. So there was a period of time where I wasn't sure what I was going to do, if I was going to return to Michigan at all, stay at the center, transfer somewhere else. So I'd been mulling that decision for a while. I wasn't sure, wasn't clear on transfer rules or anything like that. But when we got to the village before I saw Rick, I had to talk to Mike about it. I was like, this is what I need to do for me for this meet. If I want to submit my best, this is kind of, I need to deal with this kind of head on. So he was really understanding in that, and he didn't realize that there was like a graduate like option, I guess. So he was like, oh, why don't you wait till you get back to campus and then decide? But I was like, this is something like I need to do now. And my mom was kind of just like, do whatever you need to do. But I think she kind of finds it hard sometimes that I can focus on so many different things, but still do them well. Because she's like, can you just focus on your swimming and you can deal with that later when you get back? But I was like, this will help my swimming. And this is something that I need to do. So they were really all understanding in that. So that was my main motivation for joining or for jumping in the portal during the Olympics. And it was needed. I mean, I saw him and that was hard at first just because I knew he was going to be leaving and I'm just going to miss him a lot. But LSU is lucky to get him. And then he was there. I saw him a couple times. And right before my 100 fly, we kind of chatted for a bit. So it was good to know that he was there and I could talk to him without feeling like I was breaking any rules.
Thoughts on that move and what was the deciding factor to stay and go to Michigan?
Well, I made my mind up that I wanted to stay there for 4 years because that's kind of what I signed on to do originally, and I wanted to stay true to my word. And there's still one thing I haven't accomplished at Michigan yet that I want to, and that's winning a Big Ten team title. So I'm hoping we can get that done in my last season here. But I think one of the main reasons was I think transferring undergrad when I'm almost done is kind of a big pain from what I've heard from my friends that have transferred. So I definitely wanted to stick it out, not just for that, but just for the team as well.
Did you consider ISL at all?
I didn't. I considered it for fifth year. But since I have bigger like academic goals later on and I'm going to swim for another couple years, maybe past Paris, I figured I should stay in school because I enjoy learning. So I knew I wanted to pursue a master's while I finish up my last year. And then hopefully ISL will still be waiting for the next couple of years after that.
Oh, the ASL. What are you studying? What do you want to do your master's in?
I haven't decided yet. I'm still kind of looking at programs, which is kind of happening simultaneously as I look at other programs for
McGill
swimming.
has a good grad school, not a good swim team though. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm
I gotta
definitely
plug it.
staying in the
Gotta plug
States.
it. Sorry.
So we're biased. We follow the ISL. We love it. I'd love to hear your view on the ISL, and really, if you do think it's going to be around when you're ready for it.
I really hope so. I mean, it's something that I've really enjoyed watching the last 2 seasons, and I can't wait to watch them. I don't know what day it starts, but I think pretty sure it starts this week. So I'm really excited to do that. And then, of course, like the traveling that comes with it is also another bonus. But I'm excited that swimming is being more recognized, especially after the Olympics, and that it kind of has its own professional league of its own.
What event would love to swim in? Like you says, this looks like super fun, and I know I'll kick butt in, and I would enjoy that so much. Would it be one of the relays? Would it be the skins? One of the I don't know. What would it be? You think?
I want to say 50 back skins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would take like 8 strokes.
Back, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited to swim short course meters. So maybe hopefully I'll be at Short Course Worlds is something that's on my calendar for December, where I'll get to kind of improve my short course meter times from 3 years ago.
So, I want to go back to a little bit about that ISL decision. I think it's interesting that it wasn't it sounded like as much of a factor in your decision making, because from where all of us sit, we're like, well, I think we even talked about it the last time we were on the shows, that how much you tear up the ISL. I mean, it's like the format. You obviously swim extremely well long course, but you tear up short course too, and they're so versatile that there's no doubt that they're. I mean, yeah, you could show up and not do well, but the potential to earn a lot of money is there. So, I mean, why not do the ISL, make over $100,000, and then pay 1 year of tuition to finish your degree, and then just keep pro swimming while at the same time accepting the medal money that for sure the opportunities that are coming on the tail end of this summer.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I've thought about. But I think now with the new NIL rules, like I can start to do something and start to kind of capitalize on my swimming that I've done so far. And I think that's kind of also been a factor. Like if that wasn't a thing, I maybe might not have been so inclined to do a 5th year swimming in the NC2A. But now that I'm kind of starting to make money on top of the fact that I'll still be swimming in the NC2A and getting scholarship to go to school, I think that is kind of what tipped the scales for me.
So give us a sense, how much money? No, I'm just kidding. But where? but how as somebody who's living it right now and sort of the first generation of being able to take advantage of this rule change, where are you finding some of the opportunities that you can legally accept money and still maintain your eligibility?
Yeah, it's definitely challenging. I mean, there's a lot of rules and there's a lot of like little changes between states. Michigan doesn't have a law in place right now, so I think it's kind of more general. But it's definitely a whirlwind trying to kind of navigate it. I've never been in anything like this before, so just currently trying to figure out how things work and kind of sort that out before I dive too deep into looking for sponsorships and agents and things like that.
Was it like a big because obviously it's the rules change and everything, and was there any like big sort of oncoming like slaughter of like sponsorship sort of coming your way, or not necessarily maybe for you, but like as well, but for like some of your mates? Like I feel like a lot of, as soon as the rules changed, a lot of like places would suddenly like take the opportunity to email people or like message people and get them on the bandwagon like early. Did that happen or not? Was it quite slow?
Yeah, I mean, I got some emails right out of the gate. Most of them came while I was in Tokyo, so I've kind of been putting those off until I'm starting to get at them now and kind of slowly go through my inbox and kind of respond to people and read through those emails. But I think it's a great thing to kind of start to kind of capitalize on the fact that they're letting us do this. And then as far as my teammates go, I think most of them swim in Canada, so they're kind of in that, they've experienced that already. But a lot of the American athletes in the NC2 are starting to work on that. So it's great that there's going to be a strong group of us that have kind of chartered this territory and kind of getting it ready and perfecting it for the next couple years.
So what type of promotion or what type of company is Maggie Mac Neil looking to work with?
I don't know. I mean, there's a variety of
What are the
Different
morals?
things,
What
but-
type of
John,
social
what do you
mission
think?
are they working towards? We really want to know.
But I mean, the one I'm definitely going after is like I want to get sponsored by like a glasses company. Like I feel like this is definitely what makes me me, and like everyone kind of knows that my glasses are kind of what defines me, and I don't see that changing at any point. I don't really want to wear contacts ever, so I think that is going to be something that really speaks to me and can help so many other people. So I think that's a really good place to start, and I haven't really thought too much about it yet, but I think I want to start there and but I also want to find businesses that kind of support causes that I'm into and just does a lot of outreach kind of thing as well.
I'm telling you, you're onto something with the jean shorts. You got to lean into that Canadian tuxedo. Come on, you can.
Maybe.
Specially designed pockets for medals.
Oh,
Not as cool as Tom Daly's little cozies that he knitted. Though.
All right, so who's some person that you met outside of the sport of swimming that you had no idea that you would meet going in? Did you make any friends?
I mean, we didn't really interact too much with the other sports. I mean, we kind of wanted to stay to ourselves so COVID didn't spread as easily, which I mean, I think would be not the case if it was like a normal games. But I did get to see my friends from school in the dining hall, which was nice, and kind of get to spend some time with them as their swimmers, and we were kind of all in the same bubble, I guess.
What did it feel like representing the Asian community and being there in an Asia-based Olympic Games? I don't know. Was there any? Did you carry with you any other feelings that were just related to that?
I mean, that's always kind of been an interesting topic that's been brought up since 2019. I mean, I don't think I handled it well the first time that it got brought up because I didn't think about it. So McKenna didn't think about it. So none of us are kind of really prepared when they kind of popped the question. It kind of just came out of the woodworks there. But I think I was more prepared coming into this game, just knowing that it was in Asia. One of the questions I was asked it was like a press conference after my 100 fly, was about where I was from and how I was born and how I came to Canada and stuff. And I mean, it is part of my story, but it's not really, I guess, important when it comes to how my swimming kind of progressed and everything like that. So that's kind of the answer I gave them eloquently. But I mean, if I speak to the Asian community and kind of they can identify with me, that's great. But it's not something that I'm trying to focus too much of my story on.
I was going to ask the other athletes. I mean, the favorite was a Chinese swimmer. In four, Sarah is the world record holder. What words did your competitors or your peers tell you that stood out that were meaningful? Did Sarah tell you congrats, you're Olympic champion? I think she said. Like what were some meaningful things that your peers told you that really stand out, that show the camaraderie of the sport, that we all are one community?
Yeah, I mean, you guys saw what Sarah said. She basically said, yeah, congrats, you're Olympic champion. So that was really nice. And I think swimming beside her, there's just something familiar about it, I think, from 2019. So I think that's another reason why I probably wasn't as nervous as I would have been normally, just knowing that she was there. And I was like, I've done this before. Yeah. So that was really great. And then I didn't really talk too much to other people. I mean, they corral us into the medal room like way earlier than they need to. So Em and I had a nice, good chat. We hadn't chatted in a while and kind of heard about their quarantine and kind of the last year that they've experienced. So that was really nice too, but didn't really talk too much.
Anything that Rick told you? You seem to have enjoyed the moment you got to speak to Rick before your race. Is there any line or any words that he told you that stood out, or you told him, or any moments?
I wouldn't say there was. I mean, his usual, just have fun. I mean, always kind of just sticks with me, but
yeah.
I mean, we just had so many good conversations over the last 3 years. So I kind of I know what he's going to say, and it's not really too surprising. So I can kind of play it over my head before I swim anyways.
What's LSU gaining in Rick Bishop?
Oh, my God, so much. I think just the fact that he's such a hard worker and that he cares about his athletes as people and not just as swimmers. And that's something I'm really going to miss about him.
All right, real question. This one's for Brian. 4 years from now, who wins SECs, or who's ahead in SECs, Auburn or LSU?
Auburn.
I have no idea.
Oh.
I don't know too much. I don't know that much about SECs.
No, it's the Waco era. He's going to destroy Rick Bishop.
I guess we'll see what happens in 4 years then.
Oh, yes. All right. Then I'll see you at a football game for a friendly wager when you're a professional and you can bet on sports.
I wouldn't even know the first thing about betting in football. I don't even understand the game.
I don't understand over-unders. Brian tried to explain to me over-unders. I still don't get what over-under means. I don't get it. It's like...
That's when you do a 25 underwater.
Oh, you see? Exactly.
No. Swim back over the water.
Shallow water blackout.
Underwater.
That's not
Shallow water
well,
blackout.
guys. That's not
I
going to
feel
play
like that's
well.
not what it is.
One day we'll get it. Luke.
Someday I'll understand football.
Besides how long it took to walk around, was there anything from the swimming of the Olympics that you went in thinking it was going to play out a certain way, and then it didn't play out that way?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we kind of went in expecting we had really high expectations, and like we were preparing for a really different games, and then it really wasn't as different as I thought it was going to be as far as COVID protocols and just like competition style and everything. So I think we over prepared, and then we were ready for whatever happened.
How could it have got better? What are you hoping that Paris brings that Tokyo didn't have, besides people, obviously?
I would just say I'm really excited to kind of hang around and go visit other sports and kind of be at the closing ceremonies. Like, I think that'll be a really cool experience.
I remember I went to Canada House, and Canada House is such a cool house to go to. And just be with the athletes. Meg, sorry, go ahead.
I was just, did you get to watch, like, obviously you mentioned that you didn't get to watch that much of him, but like there was still like a bit of an atmosphere like in the poolside, like on poolside. So did you get to watch much like from the stands, like and support Canada, or did you not really do much of that?
I was up there a couple of days. I had about 5-6 days between my 100 fly final and the relay. So then I was only swimming. I did mostly singles. So I had time to kind of go in the stands and kind of be up there and get to experience that. But when I was swimming the first couple of days and then the last two, we just watched it on the live stream, it was pretty great too, though. It just didn't feel like we were watching the Olympics. It just kind of felt like any normal meet, because that's how we'd watch the time trials this year. That's how we watched trials. So it kind of just felt like another meet, which was weird.
Is there any part of you that thinks that Paris is going to be the same way? If we're sitting here 3 years from now in the same situation?
I'm hoping not. I mean, COVID it's on its fourth wave here in Ontario. So hopefully we'll get something controlled and have a little bit more normalcy in 3 years. But so much has changed and is changing rapidly that I don't think we could predict what's going to happen in 3 years.
Ryan, I have a question for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you, what were you most impressed with? 48-8, Meg?
48-89.
40-89 or 55-59? Which one were you impressed? You being a butterfly yourself. I mean, that 40-89 was the swim of the year back in March, and don't let us forget what the hell that was. That was crazy. What were you more impressed about?
Well, I think because it's seen you go 55 before and seen you win before, I might have to say 48, just because it's got some magic to it and it's such a big barrier. But I mean, I have to say too that there's the people that win it once, and there's the people that stand up when the lights shine brightest and can get it done time and time again. And I think that like you've established yourself as one of those people. And I have to say that while I was swimming, and one of the things that's continued just in my like now as a career as a fan, it's fun to watch people who have that killer instinct. And I mean, I hope you go on to continue to do this, but the way that you've described your mental approach and the lack of gravity that the moments seem to have on you gives you such a huge advantage, whether or not it's nature or nurture or practice, whatever it is, you've got it. And I think it's that follow-up delivery that had me so impressed to see you get your hands on the wall first again in the big moment, especially after the way the first couple swims were, where it was, maybe just like less than magical and the field was so tight. It's just like, yeah, we all knew that you're the world champion coming in, but to get it done again, you're in a rare club. On both feet.
Thank you. I would agree though that 48 is a little bit better. But yeah.
What about 47?
Maybe my 5th year.
I like it.
Was the 55-27 the fastest relay split of all time? Does anyone know?
Second fastest.
Second fastest.
What's the
By
fastest?
1/100th.
Oh, I was gonna
Third
say
was 1/100th behind me. Sarah went a 55.0 in 2017, I think.
What was your relay start? What was your takeoff?
2.7. I gotta pull it up.
0.27. There it is.
Just got to clean that up.
Yeah.
There you go. Auburn
Yeah.
sprinting right there. Clean up.
It used to be 0.4 at NC2A as my freshman year, so we're already getting there.
0.4. That's eating a sandwich on the block.
I know.
You can't see them.
Yeah.
You can't see
The
the block coming in.
200 medley relay at NC is my freshman year, 0.4.
I have to say the short axis strokes are tricky. Long axis strokes are easier to jump.
They're easier to time. Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, but breaststroke's crazy. Do you blame the 0.27 on breaststroke?
No, I would say it's probably just me being careful.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Give some advice on how you control your nerves. I still remember being on anchoring a relay on the blocks and wanting to vomit to my teammate. It's like, I can't do this. I'm going to vomit on you. I'm so nervous. And the guy will slap me to get me going. Or I'll be yawning because that's the body's instinct to get more oxygen. I'm so nervous. How did you do? Yeah, you're on the blocks of lane 7 Olympic final. What do you do to just like have that mindset like you've been talking about? Like just have fun. Like, it's one thing to say it to yourself, but it's another thing to do it and to be in a moment. How does one do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is different. Like, it's definitely easier to say. But I mean, I don't think it was actually that hard to do either, like in that moment. I was just so carefree about how I was going to swim because I just wasn't happy with how I did. So I was like, I can't control anyone else. I can control myself. So I was like, I'm just going to go and have fun and just do it. And I mean, there wasn't really any other – I feel like there wasn't any option for me to kind of get nervous and tense up because that definitely would have cost me. So I think definitely worked to my advantage in that sense. But I think nothing will top how nervous I was at NC's this year. And nothing will top how nervous I was anchoring between Simone Manuel and Kate Campbell back in 2019. So I think those two experiences have kind of shown me, what not to do.
What else gets you nervous besides something swimming related? Is it school? Is it family stuff? Is it Christmas lunch? Like, what else would get you like nervous and like, I can't take this. I need to get out of here. Or I'm anxious. Yeah. Are you a nervous person? Or you just like chill, laid back? It seems very chill, but
I feel like I'm pretty chill and laid back. I mean, I like to have fun, but I know when I have to do homework or I need to study or I need to do a presentation or if I have to swim, like those where I'm going to have to kind of switch gears and focus, but I wouldn't say I really get nervous doing, or I guess public speaking makes me nervous.
Yeah.
But
yes.
and then I'm starting to get over that slowly.
What about you, John? John, you speak to people all day, every day you swim. Do you get nervous at all, John?
I want to hear about Christmas lunch at the Paddington House.
Because we have an eating competition.
What makes you nervous about Christmas lunch and what that really even is?
What do you eat?
No, we have an eating competition where you have to go and you have to weigh your plate going in. So we have a scale, and you have a judge who measures your weight, and you serve yourself. You weigh your plate with the food, and then you eat. And when you finish, you weigh your empty plate, and we tally it. I literally I found results recently. My wife came second because she just ate salad, and she kept eating salad for like 4 hours, whereas I ate like meat. I got full. I was done after like 10 minutes.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
It's competition.
You're getting closer to Coney Island, so I think soon you'll be in the Nathan's hot dog competition, Luke.
I was thinking more like how many hot dogs can you eat, kind of like quantitative as opposed to like just see how much you can fit in your mouth at one time and kind of go like that.
These
we
don't
gotta-
even sound like Christmas lunches.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm gonna live this tradition.
No kidding. Let's steal it.
What was the reception like coming back after the Olympic? Maggie? Like, obviously, you did a lot of media, a lot of press, but you come back with 3 Olympic medals, one of each color. Like, what was the reception like? Like, not just from like family, but like from Canada, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really great. Like, I think because of COVID and the fact that everyone was like tuning in, and they were broadcasting more, I think more people were kind of watching and just enjoying it. Just kind of, I guess it was a form of escapism from life and COVID and how everything's been the last 2 years. But I had this huge sign put up in my front yard by my neighbors, and there were a bunch of people waiting for me when I got home. So that was really sweet. Although I was like, I've been traveling for 22 hours. I'm tired and I'm smelly, but it's fine. And it was fun. It was really sweet to see them. I was just like, I just feel gross, but didn't hug anyone. But, and then it's just also been weird because with the signs out front, like random people, I live by a bike path. So random people like bike by my house, and then they'll like come and like knock on the door and ask if we can like get a picture.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's been crazy,
polite.
like in that sense, but I'm still enjoying it. And I just love giving my medals to people to kind of look at and know that I kind of did it for them.
Did you hear about the mayor who bit the medal and the Olympics had to replace the medal?
Yeah, I did. I read that on Twitter, I think.
It was that somewhere. Yeah, the mayor took a bite of the medal, took a picture,
I
and
think it was
they
a
had to-
Japanese badminton player.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So
Yeah, and it
don't
left just
tell
like
her that
cheese marks, so
story
then
is-
she got another one.
Yeah. So don't
It's
even
so
bite your medal.
unsanitary.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. They're quite soft and they're already kind of banged up, but shows that they're loved, and that's kind of what everyone says. It gives them character.
So at European Championships, this is soccer. Every player kisses the trophy, and they all kiss. This year, like a month ago, and they all kiss the same point on the trophy, and that was very worrying to me for many reasons. But
COVID.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It was like, it's disgusting, by the way. What did you do when you get your medal? Like, and we didn't see the ceremony. Did O Canada play? Did you shed a tear? Did you this? Oh well, the school. Like, what was that like? Stand at podium, be Olympic champion. Describe that to us.
Well, I mean, I didn't cry. I mean, I feel like my family probably cried more than I did.
Yeah, of course.
But I think it was just like I was still kind of in shock. I mean, it was completely different than winning at Worlds. I don't know, just the feel of it and the atmosphere, not just the lack of people, but just the Olympic prestige, I guess. And it was fun kind of just walking around the pool and like waving to the people in the stands. I mean, there weren't that many people, but it was like it was different. I don't really know how to describe it, but there are definitely parts that were similar, but I think it was just a bigger level, and it was more meaningful, I guess.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because you said the World Championship was something that is more thrilling to have won, but being an Olympic champion means a lot more than being world champion. Why is that? I'll put it out to all of us. Why do you think the Olympics still have that such meaningful stuff? It's because it is the pinnacle of our sport still. Yeah. I mean, we all
It is.
strive.
I mean, as swimming, I mean, the Olympics is the top. Like, it's the top tier. And for most sports, it's like that. Very few, it's like you have the NBA, the NFL, things like that, where there is further to go. But for swimming, it really is just an Olympic sport. So I think knowing that, and the fact that that's something I've been thinking about and wanting to do since I knew what it was. I think that's what just made it even more special, I guess.
John, you want to say?
Yeah, just a greater reach. I mean, how many people after world champs were stopping by your house to take pictures with you?
None,
That's
or
when
very
you start getting
few.
into the mainstream.
Yeah, but that's the NBC $15 billion TV contract helps out as well. I mean,
Oh,
but it's because, we see it. So now you've achieved the goal. What's your next? I'm sorry to ask this question, Jesus Christ, but yeah, you repeat world record, SEC championships, Big Ten championship. Sorry,
I heard her say 54 earlier. I'm not sure if anyone else wanted to grab that one.
Project 54.
Yeah, I mean, in the interim, I think it'd be, if I go to short course worlds, I think winning a medal at that meet would be cool. And then in February, winning the Big Ten team title is the next thing on my list, because that's the last thing I think I have to accomplish at Michigan. I mean, I've accomplished everything and more than I thought I was going to, and that's the one thing that I wanted to do more than anything going in. When I committed, they had won 3 years in a row, and then we kind of have been on a whatever it is 3-year losing streak, I guess, just coming second, which is still amazing, don't get me wrong, but going in, I think that's kind of what I've thought at the forefront of my mind and what I wanted to do. And then Worlds again in May, and I think the world record is within reach, and I think that's kind of what I'm aiming for now.
What do you guys need to do to win Big Tens? I mean, Purdue is a deal breaker, right? I mean, that's kind of. What do you need to do to win Big Tens? I mean, what is it? Do you have some new people coming in? Did you lose a lot of seniors? What's going on there with the team?
Yeah, we graduated a pretty big class and no one's returning, but I think we have a pretty big freshman class coming in, and I think having new blood that's ready to go and is excited to see what they can accomplish at the college level, I think just having that fresh eyes will kind of help us accomplish our goals. And I think just knowing that this is kind of one of my last big team meets my last big team meet, I guess, at Michigan, because NC2A is just a smaller roster, but I think it'll give everyone motivation to kind of strive for that first spot.
Brian, how did that help you when you had an Olympic gold medalist come back to the team? And how did that help Auburn back in 08 when Caesar came back with a gold? How did that help your dynamic for that team chemistry?
Well, actually at that point, I wasn't on the college team anymore, but I did have some other experiences of, teammates who came back. I could think of 2004, Kirsty Coventry, raked medals at that Olympics and came back as, there are several examples, but I think the biggest thing is that, when people leave the college environment and establish themselves as among the most elite in the world, as if they didn't already have a wealth of experience to impart on their teammates, for sure, that gives you quite the hot microphone to come back and, and I think have an equal share of provoked and unprovoked advice that you're able to offer. And so, I mean, it's not like, for sure the experience has changed you, as every experience, that we live shapes each of us that we can't necessarily know. You're still Maggie and you'll go back and you'll be the same great teammate, but at the same time, you'll have the wisdom of what it's like to be in the ready room of an Olympic final, to swim in the morning, to navigate different coaching situations, to deal with the uncertainty of a pandemic, the list goes on, to how to think just about the one thing that you need to think about in your race and have that be accelerating your turnover and have that translate into results, and that works. So there's just a number of things that I think, those that experience a lot on the biggest stage can come back. And so I think it's just, it's comforting to have, someone that you can go to for advice on how to do what you're trying to do well, because I think that we all need to do that as athletes, as people, whatever it is that we're trying to, get better at. It's seek out those who have done what you want to achieve and done it well, and, and ask them questions. So, good for you, Maggie. You get to be that.
You'll be that person. Yeah.
Thank you.
So day one, women's Big Tens. Maggie Mac Neil getting ready to give a little pump talk to the team, a little nervous. What do you say? This is the last thing I have to accomplish. Come on, guys.
No pressure. I have all this.
It's the only thing
I want
left.
this.
I don't know if I'd say it in words so much. I think that kind of puts a lot of pressure on people, and they kind of get anxious and worry about that too much. And I think that's something we've learned from in the last 3 years. We've kind of talked about it to kind of to death, I guess. Like, this is what you need to go. We need this, and this. So I think by letting swimming do the talking, and I know the medley relay being the first event, I think we just got to go out there and hammer it. And I think I can do that by splitting a 22-9, which I know I'm capable of doing. And I think that'll hopefully set us on the right foot heading into the rest of the week.
Is there any, are you focused at all on individual results when it comes to NCAA competition, or is it all about the team now?
I mean, of course, I want to go back to back and hunter fly, and hunter free would be cool too. But I think I've kind of gotten that, like I've gotten that spotlight, and I've won NC2As individually. So I think this is where I want to kind of do the best of both worlds and focus on the team, but also focusing on just having fun, but doing well in my individual races. And I think just enjoying it and enjoying my last one at Michigan will help me do that for both.
Should swimming and diving be combined as Olympic sports as like one Olympic sport?
What do you mean? Like
I
you
don't
mean
know.
like in college where it's like swimming and diving?
Yeah, I mean, like,
I feel like it's still like that at the Olympics.
yeah, it is, but I think it's interesting that we combine them as one team in the NCAA, and then at the Olympics, it's not like y'all travel together. You don't like all have the same meals. It's not the same staff. It's a totally independent organization. I don't know. It's just one of those things that a lot of college swimmers go and divers go, why are these two sports together? It's like, what about water polo and, synchro or swimming? Are those just out on their own? I don't know.
I think it'd be fun to have swimming and diving more like intertwined. I mean, I love hanging out at the dive wall with Hildy, our dive coach, and I'm often seen there with him, just like chatting about life and just enjoying watching the divers. I mean, I'm scared of heights, so that's something I definitely wouldn't be doing. But I think they're an integral part of our team, and I think it'd be cool if it was more intertwined on the international level.
Now, do you build that connection more just so that you have, no judgment for all the time you spend in the hot tub?
I never sit in the hot tub. Maybe once every couple months.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's not very sprinter-like of you.
I'm not a sprinter.
You're a hell of a fast non-sprinter.
Yeah, fast distance something.
It's like sprint
man.
plus, I would say.
All right.
What are we gonna? Yeah. Go back.
One prediction for the college season then for us.
I mean, I think I have to be kind of try to be accurate because I think 3 of my 4 predictions of times from the last time I was on your show actually were right.
That's right.
Well, good luck. Keep it going.
So I'm going to go with 2250 back.
Yep.
And I think that's as far as I want to go time-wise. I don't think I'm going to enter to that territory right now. But I think
Fair enough.
I think we're going to win Big Tens. I really do.
I like it. Cool. Go make it happen. But I really still want to see a 47. So if you could just figure out a way to just, weave that into your priorities, that'd be really great.
We'll see about that one.
All right. Well, we'll be watching. Thanks for hanging out with us again, Maggie. Congrats on all the success. And we wish you well. We'll keep watching.
Thanks for having me again.
Hey.
That's it for this episode of the Social Kick Podcast. And on behalf of Meg, Dr. John, and Luke, we'll see you. Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you're enjoying Social Kick, tell your friends about it. And be sure to tell us what you liked by leaving a comment and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at The Social Kick Podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Social Kick. And you can find all of our content on our website at thesocialkick.com.